If you find that you don't have enough time in the day when you're going through your B2B pipeline or how to get more people through your B2B pipeline and you just don't have the time, I'm going to give you 10 things in this video that you 100% can automate through the pipeline for your B2B organization. So we'll start with number one, and that is lead gen. So on this channel here, we do talk about lots of different ways that you can generate leads and lots of different ways that you can automate that as well. Now, I'm not going to go through them all in this video. You can check out the other videos for that. Otherwise, this video would be hours and hours long. You can have outreach automated. You can have your inbound once set up. It is essentially automated and ongoing. And ads essentially are an automated way as well. Okay. Now, I know that's a very high level way of talking about that, but that essentially is how you can automate all the lead gen side of things coming in. Okay. The only way that wouldn't really be automated is if you're doing something like cold calling or I don't know, some other forms of generating leads where it wouldn't be automated, or you can't automate it at least. Again, even with the cold calling side of things, you could even delegate it. You can even hire somebody onto your team who specifically does nothing else but just that, okay? There's lots of different ways you can automate the lead gen, whether it's outbound, inbound, or advertising in this day and age. Again, as I said, if you want to check out how we specifically do that and how we do that for a lot of other B2B people that we work with, you can check out the other videos on this channel as well. But that's not what this video is about. So lead gen, number one, we need to get people into the pipeline first of all. That's the only way we can get them going through the pipeline. So once somebody's in the pipeline, that brings me to the next section, which is then your follow-ups, because you absolutely can do this as well, okay? Now, there is the balance between it being a very obvious automated follow-up, which most people know that it will be, but again, it's just using some simple personalization, okay? I would go a little bit further than just kind of the first name side of things. Depending on what information you're collecting in the lead gen side of things, when they're filling out a form, or whatever way you collect that lead information, if you have the likes of their website or their phone number or whatever it might be, there's a lot of different ways that you can use that information as well to essentially automate when you're doing your follow-ups as well. Even when you're automating to follow up to try and get that person to take the next step, which for most people is to book a call, book a demo, whatever it might be, you can actually use a lot of automation even in there. Even with the URLs that you use, you can automate the URLs that each person who gets a follow-up email from you, all the URLs are different. That could be even something very simple as a predefined URL parameter, so that when they do go on to book a call, they don't have to fill in their information again for their time and information and all that sort of stuff. No, sorry, not the time information, but their name, their email, and whatever information they may need to provide when booking a call. It's already pre-filled out for them, okay? The less steps that we can have people needing to take, the less actions we need somebody to take, the more likely they're going to actually go ahead and go through and actually take the action we want them to take, which in this case, if they're on a follow-up, that's going to be, as I said, book a demo or book a call, whatever it might be. Now, I'm going to throw another one in here next, which a lot of people don't do, but it's what we do and we advise everybody to do. And that is to automatically qualify those leads as well, okay? Now, most people are going from here, they're going straight to booking a call, booking a demo, but a lot of those times, and now not a lot of those times, again, depending on what way you run the organization and you have your marketing and everything set up, that salespeople can waste a lot of their time when they're speaking to people who just absolutely are not qualified, and it does not make sense for those people to be on that call. They kind of have high hopes that you can help them, that you're a silver bullet answer for everything that they're not having a fun time with at the moment. That's just not how it works in reality. So this is actually the next thing that we recommend, is to qualify those leads. Now, but the reason I put this here before booking a call is because obviously we only want to speak to somebody on a call and use our time on a call, or salespeople's time on a call, if we're actually speaking to someone who is qualified and more likely to convert. Okay, as I said, there's no point in wasting time speaking to somebody who is probably not going to convert because they're not qualified at all. So we can actually automate this as well, and we recommend you do that too. You can do that by, now we do essentially a survey, which is not really a survey, it's just kind of a qualification form. But when we are following up with people, we tell them they can request a call, which again is kind of blanketed as book a call. It's kind of the same thing, or they assume that's what it's going to be. And when they get to that URL that we send them to book a call or to book a demo, whatever it may be, it actually goes to a qualification page. Now we have it set up to the qualification questions, and we only ask 4 of them, I believe, that they kind of go one by one. So you assume that when you're answering those particular things that you're about to book a call. However, depending on the answers that you give here, we do use logic conditioning, or conditional logic, that's what it's called, to actually tell that person then whether they're a good fit immediately and they can book a call with us, or that they're not a good fit. Now, even if somebody's not a good fit, we try and provide some sort of value to them by either showing them more videos like this that they can use and they can implement themselves, or whatever it may be. So again, qualify is the next section that I would do when I'm actually going ahead and essentially automating the B2B pipeline. Now, after that, again, under the assumption somebody is qualified, what we want to do is we want to get them onto either a demo or a call, okay? So the reason I'm using both here is because there's different B2B organizations that watch these videos, and some of you are software companies that have demos, some of you are in other organizations or other industries where a demo call doesn't actually make sense, but you have essentially a sales call overall. So demo/call is the next thing that I 100% would automate. Now, when I say automate that, you might think, but if we've already qualified them here, aren't they going to book a call here? No, because that's just unfortunately not how it works. In an ideal world, somebody would go from they've just become a lead to a paying client with recurring revenue. That's just not how it works, okay? So the reason that we follow up when someone is a lead when we don't know yet if they're qualified is to try and qualify them again automatically, depending on whatever we're following up them with. And it's only if they're qualified they can actually go ahead and book a call. Okay, so when somebody goes through, as I said here, this is what we call a survey, which is not really a survey. It's if that person essentially passes through that survey and we've determined that they are qualified based on the conditional logic, then they can book a call. But when somebody gets to the call booking page where it has the calendar and it has the times available, they can easily get distracted by anything else in this day and age. Okay, whether they're working from home and the doorbell rings, they're getting a delivery from Amazon, whether it is that they're in the office and somebody knocks on their door there and says, "Can I just speak to you for 2 minutes?" or whatever it might be. Okay, or their phone rings, or they get notifications about an email, or whatever it might be. There's a million distractions in this day and age. Okay, so even when someone is qualified, and again, depending on the system that you use, it will essentially tag that person and say they're qualified, so we can stop sending these kind of follow-ups. And now the follow-ups that we're sending them is to book a call. Okay, these are more important because we know that that person is qualified, so they're therefore a much better lead for us to continue following up with as well. Okay, so that's what we want to do next. We want to make sure that that person's on a demo or a call once we know that they're qualified. And again, everything so far has been automated. This is all automated, okay? So the next thing that person actually does go ahead and book a demo or a call, because again, we're not just following up once, we're following up multiple times. That's how you do this. You have to be persistent and you have to have multiple touch points for these people to pass through. And again, don't worry about how much time it's going to take, because again, this is automated. Yes, it might take a little bit of time to set this up at the start, but the time that it saves you in the future is just absolutely incredible. So once we have that person on a call, what we want to do then is essentially hand them over from marketing to sales. Okay, so we're going to do our handover here, and basically the way that we work this is now again, depending on what CRM you're using, it could be completely different, but the particular CRM that we use, this allows us to say that when someone has booked a call, they essentially get a tag set to them in the CRM that says they booked a call, therefore meaning they're about to speak with a salesperson. So marketing no longer needs to follow up with these people. It's sales now who is essentially going to be in charge of this particular person that they've been handed over, okay? Again, as I said, the CRM system we use, you can do that all automatically. If you want to check out the particular system that we use, you can check it out there's a link for it in the description below, which covers absolutely everything to automate, which I'm about to talk about as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So it covers absolutely everything. Look, I'm not trying to pitch it or anything. It's just obviously if you're not getting automation features for everything that you want to have in your particular CRM, it might be worth having a look at. Okay. So again, the handover is very, very simple. We just have it set that, as I said, when somebody books a call, the system recognizes that it's going to sales now. It knows who that particular salesperson, it knows who their call was booked with. It hands over to that person, so we can see exactly in the CRM who's in charge of who, or who's in charge of what leads, or who's having calls with which people, or whatever it may be, okay? So the marketing to sales handover then, that's very important. And of course that comes with, now the way that we automate this as well, just to kind of throw that in there, is let's say that the marketing person who was in charge of all this before is Jane, okay? And your salesperson is John. So that person who's after booking in, they get a message or an email or whatever it might be from Jane to say, whatever, blah, blah, been great to chat to you so far. I see you booked in a call. I'm going to hand you over now to our very talented person, John, whatever it might be. John will be able to answer any further questions and help you further, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, obviously, that was a terrible example of what you should say. But again, it's just to show you the overall way that you can go about this as well. Okay. So that is the handover from marketing to sales. So the next thing then is your reminders for the call or the demo, whatever it is. Okay. Now, we do this in a couple of ways. We do this in email and we do it in SMS as well, okay? The reason we do it in both is because emails are kind of just generic. If people book a call, a lot of people know they're there, but a lot of people are flooded with emails. The reason we do it on a text basis as well is because everybody has their phones on them 24/7. And the one that does get a text, again, if they didn't see it in all their emails in their massive inbox, then at least they see it and they know that we have essentially redirected them from the SMS to say the link for the call is in your email. So they know to go and look for it. They're taking the action we want them to take, okay? So we do this, I think, 24 hours before a call, an hour before a call, and 10 minutes before a call as well, okay? So again, that's all automated based on the system. The system knows, doesn't matter what the time zone is, that this person is after booking a call. They know when the call is, what time zone it's on. It's got a unique Zoom link. It's got all their information on it. Again, anything they filled out here on the qualify section, that actually automatically, not only do we send reminders to the people who've booked a call, as in the potential clients, the prospects, but this also goes to the salespeople. And all the answers that they gave here actually goes to the salespeople based on these reminders as well, okay? Because you can essentially split this out, you can branch this out depending on who it's going to, who these reminders are going to. So the salesperson hopping in the call knows everything about this person already that we've put in on the qualify section, and they know exactly where they are and essentially where they want to get to as well, okay? So it saves a lot of that upfront side of things as well, and it really makes it look like the salesperson has done their homework as well, okay? So again, that's just one particular way that we use it. Obviously, it's going to be very different within each organization. So just take a moment to see, well, how could we use that? How could we branch it out? What could we get from people here that we could give to the salespeople here that before they even ever hop on a call, they know a lot about this person, where they are, and where they'd like to go as well, okay? So then the next thing is, after the reminder side of things, obviously a call is going to happen. Now, unfortunately, there is a situation where sometimes people don't show up, okay? So if it is a no-show, that doesn't mean that they don't care about you or they never wanted to speak to you in the first place. It just means that for whatever reason, something happened and they became busy, okay? Now, that could be something extreme as a family emergency. It could be something not as extreme as they were in a previous meeting which went over time. It could be something as silly as they didn't get any reminders because for whatever reason you went to spam. You couldn't get through to their phone either, whatever it was, okay? So there's lots of different reasons that this can happen. Hopefully it's not as often as people do hopping on calls. People are hopping on calls, but obviously sometimes we do have no-shows. If someone is a no-show, we can then essentially automate it to go through essentially a whole no-show follow-up sequence to say, hi, Tina, we saw that you weren't able to attend your call, whatever it may be, blah, 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 this thing's happened. You can just rebook at this particular link as well, okay? So again, this gets people back onto the calendar, okay? Now, we use this very, very frequently. I say pretty frequently, but we have a very high show-up rate. But the times that we do use it, the frequency that I'm talking about here is that most people do reply back saying, oh, I completely forgot I had a dentist appointment that day, or whatever it might be, okay? But again, we get people rebooked back on the call, okay? Because if you don't, you're just throwing revenue into the bin here. So there's absolutely no reason to not have this. And again, it's fully automated, so why would you not do something like this, okay? So then after that, if someone does show up to a call, we have the post-call follow-ups as well, okay? Because we are in the B2B world, and in most cases, people aren't going to close on the first sale. Again, depending on what you do, depending on how your salespeople are, depending on how they handle objections. But for the vast majority of you, I can't imagine that it's a one-call close for a lot of what you do. I can imagine it's multiple meetings that need to be had. But again, this is where in the post-call, you continue to provide value through those follow-ups as well, okay? So you're essentially providing value through kind of everything that's here as well, but you just essentially keep nudging at them, keep saying, yes, we're the best fit for you. Yes, we have everything that you're looking for. Yes, we're the right people to be able to help you. And you just keep reminding them again and again and again and again, because people are very busy with their days. They're not thinking about you constantly. Yes, they might have a couple of internal meetings about you and moving forward with a project or whatever it might be. But again, you just need to keep reiterating to those people that that's the case. And again, remember, the post-call sequence here that we have, they could be talking to multiple other people, multiple competitors as well. Because again, that seems to be quite a big thing. People are either looking around for what features you have, or people are looking around to see the pricing, or people are looking around to see have you worked with people like them before. There's so many different reasons that they can speak to competitors. And again, the post-call follow-up sequences with the value add to them, again, it generally just puts you as the authority, puts you in the right place, and constantly shows these people that you are the right choice for them to move forward as well. Okay, and again, this can be fully automated, so you don't have to spend a lot of time doing this. As I said earlier, yes, it might take a little bit of time in regards to setup, but after that, you don't have to really worry much about it whatsoever, okay? And also in regards to post-call, make sure that your salesperson and probably your marketing people as well up here adds that person on LinkedIn as well, okay? Because again, if you are posting stuff on LinkedIn, or the company's posting something on LinkedIn and these people are sharing it, again, it's not only in the emails or the SMS follow-ups that we're doing in the likes of here, but it's also on that person on LinkedIn that, again, your company name is continuously being shown to them. So again, you stay top of mind. Okay. Now, so let's say that everything has gone well so far here. And now this person's gone ahead and said, yes, we want to choose you. Yes, you're the right people. We'd like to work together. And then essentially they become a client as well. Okay. So what you can actually do then is your onboarding and your support. You can actually do both of those automated. Okay. Now, we do live in the world at the moment where we have AI, we have automation, we have loads of different things. So from a support perspective, you can put together a chatbot side of things. And obviously make sure that those people can get in touch with a human if they do want to. And the onboarding side of things, again, this is always obviously easier if you're like some software company where you have essentially a guide through for that person's first time, which they can look back again if they want to, for whatever reason. Or that you have instructional videos, like a playlist, even if it's on YouTube, something very, very simple. Again, have your onboarding and your support. You can essentially automate that as well, okay? Again, this is much easier with the likes of software. If you're in other kind of organizations as well, or other sort of industries, I'm sure there's some way that you can automate or at least semi-automate a lot of this as well, okay? And then the last thing in regards to what you can automate is your MRR, okay? Your monthly recurring revenue. Now, the vast majority of you that are watching this are probably already doing this, but I'm making this point for a lot of you that still aren't, because I know a lot of you still aren't, where you're invoicing people manually every single month and they have to manually pay for that software or whatever it is that you do every month as well, okay? We have things like Stripe these days. We have so many different automation, so many different software, so many different tools available to us where somebody can use your particular service, they continue to be happy, you continue to get paid. Again, they have the likes of their support, whether it's through AI and they can chat to a human if they want, all that sort of stuff. But just get rid of the manual asking for recurring payments, where it might be. Just have it on monthly recurring revenue, okay? Set them up in Stripe as a customer. Set them up that they get an invoice through Stripe or that they pay essentially a subscription charge through Stripe, sorry. Again, if they want to, they can change their payment details. They can go from card to bank transfers. Again, depending on what country you live in. I think Stripe doesn't offer that for every single country. But again, there's loads of different ways you can essentially automate this, and it just keeps the revenue coming into the business, okay? There's absolutely no reason in this day and age to be manually doing payments and invoices and all that. So again, even the likes of Stripe is going to automatically invoice that person as well, okay? Even if you have I forget what it's called, but what you need in regards to actually I can't remember what the whole thing is called. But basically, when you need a particular number to say that this is this particular sequence in invoices or this particular order from these particular people, you can automate all of that in Stripe as well. Okay, so there's absolutely no reason for not only this, but for any of this that's here. There's no reason for you to be doing the vast majority of this manually, pretty much any of it really in this day and age. Now, yes, you have to essentially set this up, and that will probably be a bit of a manual process. But again, the time that you would put in here to set all this up and have it all up and running is just going to save you so much time in the future. And this essentially is how you essentially get to B2B pipeline automation, okay? So there's 10 things that you can automate throughout your pipeline in B2B. Hopefully that video was helpful. If you want to figure out a bit more about how we specifically automate the likes of this, I have actually even pretty much everything here. You can check out the first link that's in the description as well. It'll go through pretty much all the sort of stuff, show you how to do this kind of step by step. Other than that, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If there's anything in particular you want a video about, you can just leave it in the comments below. And that's pretty much it for today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.